Good evening and welcome to this special edition of the JV Sports Show, a very special edition, video edition, if you will. We are pleased to announce the new head coaches for the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. Vince, it's going to be a great show tonight. We're going to introduce these guys and speak with them a little bit and get a little bit about their background and their intentions with their teams.
Oh my gosh, this has been so long in coming, and it's finally here. We're getting, inch by inch, day by day, we're getting a little bit closer to kickoff here, and we're finally able to reveal the head coaches' names, the team names, a little more information, and there's just a ton of excitement throughout the community because of all the opportunity for young people moving forward and getting back into junior college football.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and everybody's excited for the return of junior college football after the demise of that last year and the hullabaloo in regards to that. So, without further ado, we'll take a short break, come right back, and then we'll get this thing.
Hi guys, Vince here to talk to you about a great little gem located in the heart of Carefree for over 40 years, the Black Mountain Coffee Shop. Black Mountain Coffee Shop has something for everyone, serving the most delicious breakfast and lunches made to order, old-fashioned shakes and malts, or you can just come on in, chat with the friendly locals, and have some of the best tasting coffee around. Tell them James and Vince from the JV Sports Show sent you. Go see our friends Don and Lisa Little in historic Spanish Village, a Carefree staple since 1978, the Black Mountain Coffee Shop. All right, so we're going to start off here. I'd like to introduce the three head coaches of the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference, beginning with Coach Doug Madoski of the Maricopa Mustangs. Hello, Coach.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Thank you, sir. Next up, we have Coach Jerome Daniels of the Salt River Scorpions. Coach Daniels.
How you doing?
Great. There he is. And finally, without further ado, we have Coach Ryan Felker of the Gila River Hawks. Coach Felker.
How you doing? I'm happy to be here.
All right. All three of these names should be very familiar to anybody that followed the Maricopa Community Colleges over the last few years. Of course, Coach Madoski was head coach out at Scottsdale Community College, had a real successful run over there. Coach Daniels with Phoenix College. And then Coach Felker, most recently with Mesa Community College. So really excited. We'll take a quick, short break. We'll be right back with the three head coaches of the newly formed Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference.
Welcome back to the JV Sports Show, a very special edition here. We're going to introduce the new head coaches of the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. Take it away, Vince. Let's get these guys on here.
All right, so let's start with Coach Doug Madoski. Coach Madoski, tell us a little bit about your run at Scottsdale Community College. How many years were you there? Some highlights. Go ahead, floor is yours, Coach.
Geez, how many years were there? I think 13 years as the head football coach. Prior to that, I started there in 2001. So I guess I've been in Scottsdale for 17, 18 seasons. Last 13 as a head football coach. I mean, obviously we feel like we've done a pretty decent job of turning the program around a little bit. Obviously excited to play in last year's Valley of the Sun Bowl. But I think at one point we played in 3 straight. And I think we've coached in 6 or 7 of them at this point. I don't know anymore, but between my time as an assistant coach and head coach. But, obviously for us, it's about these kids and moving these guys on. And certainly we're excited to get to work. And I know that with, Coach Felker and Coach Sowers that we can obviously, make this thing go. So we're excited.
So you were known as a defensive guy at Scottsdale, but you also had some pretty nice offenses, year in and year out that you were there. What made it click? Where did the kids come from that you drew from? Were they all local kids? Where'd you get a majority of your players?
We were probably 50-50. I mean, I think between in-state kids and local kids and out-of-state kids, we had some limitations at Scottsdale from some of our recruiting budgets and scholarship opportunities, and it was one of them deals where we certainly weren't going to pass up good football players. If there were opportunities from kids outside of the Maricopa community, we would look there. I think that our primary emphasis was in finding guys locally first, and then filling needs with the out-of-state community and different areas of Arizona. But yeah, we had success on the offensive side of the ball. Interestingly enough, a lot of our offensive success came from in-state kids. I think we were more defensive heavy out of state and offensive heavy in-state, but we did okay with it.
Coach Madoski, talk a little bit about the Maricopa Mustangs. What are your plans with that organization?
I think the biggest thing for us is just to try to keep this thing going. And at the end of the day, we want to, continue to offer an opportunity for kids to move on and be successful in the junior college level of football. Obviously, we think there's a definite need for it. I think that the WSFL has proven there's a definite need here in the state of Arizona, as well as outside the state. So our big thing is we want to bring quality young men in, give them an opportunity to compete and help them improve their game and get them moved on to the next level.
Coach Madoski, proudest moments at Scottsdale Community College. Just a quick thought, something that was very memorable over your last 13 years there.
I think that moving the kids on, seeing those guys move on, they're all different. They all go to different levels. And, certainly you get excited and proud about the kids that come in with, no fanfare and no fanfare and no recruiting behind them and get those opportunities to go play at a high level. I think just seeing those kids move on and develop as young men has always been, my proudest moments.
I'd like to take the next question to Coach Daniels, Jerome Daniels, who will be coaching the Salt River Scorpions. Coach Daniels, you've got quite the varied history. I mean, you were, you played for the Miami Dolphins, Baltimore Ravens. You were an Arizona Cardinal. Talk a little bit about your experience in the NFL and how that parlayed into, transitioning to coaching.
Well, I just love to help kids. The biggest thing is, when I was a Cardinal, we spent a lot of time in the community, did a lot of camps for kids. Just helping them develop as young men. That's the biggest thing for me. So the reason why I really wanted to get involved in this league is to be an avenue for these young men to become successful.
Coach, what is your first steps? And have you guys been able to recruit so far, or how are you drawing players right now and drawing interest for your ball club?
Well, I'm going to be getting started now because I'm probably the latest coach to come on. So I've got a lot of work to do. I got to recruit a team, but as I collect more information and get things going, I think we're going to be successful.
Coach Felker, quick question for you. How many kids did you place in Division I schools last year, and how many overall, just in all levels?
Well, last year we probably had about 14 or 15. That's about average. Some years we'd have more than 20, some years a little less, and I think all of us at these junior colleges, about the same on a yearly basis. I know in the last 7 seasons we've put 110 into Division I and another 230 into Division II and NAIA on full rides, and that's just not talking about Mesa. That's the same thing that happened at Glendale, Scottsdale, Phoenix. And these opportunities for these kids at these colleges is insane, and like Coach Madoski said, providing this opportunity is more important than anything. It's not about us as coaches. It's about our communities and what these kids have lost, and being able to give them that path so they can get the mentorship and access to education and be able to grow and develop, whether it's academically or physically, and be able to move to a 4-year institution and get their education paid for.
Coach Felker, what would you tell these young men that are just hearing about the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference? What would you tell them to let them know that it is the real deal, and it's something that they should definitely be excited about, definitely check into, and it's going to be a great avenue for them not only to pursue athletics but also education?
Well, I think the history of junior college football in Arizona speaks for itself. If you look at Coach Madoski's track record, which is unbelievable when it comes to moving kids on to the next level. If you look at what we've done at Mesa in the last 7 seasons, if you look at even Phoenix, some of the greatest Division I football players, NFL players have come out of there. I mean, these junior colleges have provided so many opportunities for kids that with that being lost, I think our biggest concern was what is going to happen to our communities when these boys don't have that path and that mentorship and that avenue and that carrot, so to speak, to be able to move on or to actually obtain their education and come back to the communities and be firefighters, cops, teachers, whatever it is, and be able to benefit from having probably one of the greatest games in America to be able to be that avenue.
Coach Madoski, question for you. Talk a little bit about, because you have been working fairly closely with Stephen Weiss, the executive director of this league, on getting things going with regard to the combines, everything else. What were the responses like with regard to those combines that were held? I believe there were 4 combines over the past couple of months.
Yeah, we did the 4 combines, and there was a decent response. Obviously, I don't think there's ever enough of a response, but I think that for as late as we were into the game to try to get this going and to try to, we didn't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So for us, it was about making sure that we had things in place and things that were secure as we moved along. These kids have already been hit once. We didn't want to have them get hit again. So we wanted to make sure that we were thorough with the things that we were doing. But the response was pretty good. I think the best one was probably, or the biggest one, I should say. I don't know if there was the best one. I think we kind of did the same thing at all of them. But, I don't know if the biggest one was over at Cesar Chavez or Skyline, either the first or I think it was the third one or last one of the two. I can't remember. But, but it was good to see those kids go out there and see them be excited about having an opportunity.
What now with regard to staff? How's that going? I know that you're still working to put some things together. You're still identifying some areas of need there. How's that been? And I guess that could probably be an open question to each of you, but we'll start with you, Coach Madoski.
It's been a challenge. So much of my focus has been trying to work with, Steve and answer questions and do anything I can from that standpoint, just from the football piece of it, that I don't know that I've had a ton of time to really invest in a whole lot of that. I don't foresee it being an issue. I think that, there's been a buzz about what it is that we're doing. I think there's also that, what's really going on, how far into this are we, and how legit is everything? I think I get that question more than I get, anything else, but certainly it's a challenge, but I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of good people out there, a lot of good football coaches that want to help kids. And I certainly anticipate that we'll be just fine.
Coach Madoski, let's talk about some of the fun stuff. And Coach Daniels, want to get you in on this question as well. The first game's coming up. How excited are you guys for that? Where are those going to be located? Talk a little bit about that, what the setup is so far, and what information is still going to be forthcoming.
So, obviously we're still looking to secure a couple of facilities for a couple of teams. But we've got some in place. The Mustangs team that I'll coach will be based out of Mountain Ridge High School over here in off 67th Avenue in Happy Valley or Deer Valley, I guess. Obviously Coach Felker can talk about where his team will be. We're partnering with some guys in regards to Coach Daniels' team and trying to figure out exactly what the perfect facility is for him. And I know that he's been working with Steve on that. But how excited am I? Man, I'd rather get back to coaching football. It's been a long road. I think that all of us would agree that it's been a heck of a ride over the last little over a year for us to get to this point. And I just want to get back on a football field and see what we can get done.
Coach Daniels, you've been off for a couple of years. You've been doing some other things and participating in a lot of NFL alumni events in that grind. How does it feel to get back into coaching?
I'm really excited. I am really excited to put some guys together, give some opportunities for some coaches who didn't have opportunities to get out there and coach at this level. I just want to be, that conduit for guys to be successful in all areas. So if I can help coaches, have this opportunity, help these players have an opportunity to go to the 4-year level, I'm happy with that. So can't wait to start coaching again.
James, what I'd like to do is take another quick break, and I want to come back and pose that question on Coach Felker as well. So we'll be right back.
Whether it be auto, home, life, or business protection, Farmers Insurance agent Heidi Cummings has you covered. As your Farmers agency located at 32nd Avenue in Peoria in Phoenix, they have the knowledge and experience to fulfill your personal, family, and business risk management needs. Give Heidi a call today at 602-789-6801.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. So glad you joined us here for this very special edition. We're talking with Coach Doug Madoski, Coach Jerome Daniels, and Coach Ryan Felker of the new Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. Coach Ryan Felker, would you like to introduce one of your coaching staff?
Yeah, we actually had a defensive meeting tonight. We have a complete defensive staff in place and ready to go. And Coach Jamani Robertson will be my defensive coordinator. A little history on Coach Robertson is I sat in his living room about 12 years ago. He was a Deer Valley High School kid. I recruited him to Eastern Arizona College. I was his position coach. And he went from there to Utah State and same place as Coach Madoski. And then got a little opportunity with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he's been back with me for the last few years and done a great job in the secondary and learning from my defensive coordinator at Mesa Community College, Chanel Jones. And now he's ready to fledge and run a defense on his own. And I think he's going to be a great addition to this league and this staff. And any questions you have for him?
Yeah, I do actually, Coach Jamani. How excited are you to be getting involved in something, just taking it total from the ground up?
I'm just excited to be here. I mean, just 3 years with the SFL and playing in it formally, and being back coaching is just a blessing of its own. I'm excited to bring back the opportunity, for these players. I know it was devastating for almost a few months, kind of throughout the community, understanding what are these kids going to do after high school in Arizona, particularly, and also too, a lot of these guys from out of state being able to say that, Arizona wasn't the place to be able to come play football, and to change all that and to be back and have a year of kind of not we definitely don't want to have a year of building. We want to just kind of come right out and be able to establish this league right away. And I'm excited to, be a part of it, especially for the first year, man.
Well, it's great talking with you guys, and we appreciate the enthusiasm for the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. Coach Felker, for the Gila River Hawks, do you guys have a home base yet? Has that been established as of now?
Yes, sir. We're going to be practicing and playing out of Campo Verde High School, out in off of Val Vista in the 202. Campo Verde has a turf field, amazing facilities, and it might be the nicest field we played on in the last since I've been in the WSFL. To be able to go out and get great film for these local guys to be recruited and have the backdrop that we have at Campo Verde is a blessing, and I think that it'll be a great home for us. Most of our kids on our roster actually live within a few miles of the school, so we're in a good spot.
Coach Madoski, there's been some things in the news recently that we might as well just talk about right now, and that's with respect to some little bit of turmoil that they had at within the Mountain Ridge High School football program, and you've been asked to kind of help get the ship righted over there. How do you feel? You're going to be wearing a couple of hats, and we might as well talk about it right now because people have been asking. How do you feel, taking on that role over there? And you'll, if I'm not mistaken, you'll also be hosting the Maricopa Mustang games out at Mountain Ridge as well, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. We'll practice and play all of our games out there at Mountain Ridge. Obviously, I live over here just a few minutes down the road from Mountain Ridge High School, and seeing some of the things that have been going on over there, and obviously the program's on the downward end of things right now, but feeling like maybe we can do some things and get it turned and bring it back up a little bit. Certainly my son's in 8th grade, going to be going into high school, and wanting to make sure that if that's where he was going to be, that he had the best opportunity that I could provide for him in regards to getting that thing turned and going in the right direction. And at the time, obviously, I didn't have a job, so I looked at it and thought, if I'm going to live over here and it's in my community, in my background, in my backyard, then see if I can lend my assistance to doing something. And certainly I was blessed to have the opportunity to do so. And I've been over there for a few days just watching those kids at spring ball. They work their tails off, and our numbers are a little low, but at the same time, we've got some kids over there that can play, and certainly they're hungry to be successful. So I'm excited about the challenge and the opportunity.
Coach Daniels, you're obviously reinvigorated to get back into coaching, and talk about some of the high points at Phoenix College. Obviously, didn't win a lot of games during your time there, but there was some issues, some concerns that happened with with the coaching situation, prior to your taking over. So you had to work through some of that, but you also had some players that went on to do some good things as well.
Yes. There was a lot of adversity, as you well know, at Phoenix College. But we got through it. And one thing that I was really proud of with the kids that I had is how they pushed through. They never gave up. They never quit on us. And that was the biggest thing, is that they kept fighting. No matter what, they kept fighting. They kept showing up. And a lot of them got an opportunity to go on to 4-year schools and get their degrees. And some of them had opportunities to go to the NFL. And so it's some good things out there.
Coach Daniels, are you able to use your connections that you had from Phoenix College and obviously your pro playing experience as well? Are you going to be able to use that experience to draw some quality athletes into your program there for the Scorpions?
I'm sure hoping. I've been calling, I've put out some calls already to some coaches. So Frank Sanders says he'd coach my receivers. Bernard Wilson said he'd coach my D-line. I got Stacey Ellis, who was my linebackers coach. He was an All-American at NAU. He'll also be a co-defensive coordinator. So I got some guys that I've been contacted that I believe in for the coaching staff, and I know they'll be both great football coaches and great men and role models for these young men.
Now, Coach Daniels, you played offensive line your whole career, but you're a defensive coordinator now. So what has that transition been like?
Because I like to stop what I know, So since I know what the O-line does, I like to throw blitzes at what I know they can block and what they can't block. So it's pretty fun. So I was an offensive coordinator for a little bit too, so I could do both sides, but I do enjoy the defense.
And Coach Madoski, you're a defensive coordinator as well. You got the offensive side of the ball taken care of?
We're working on it. I mean, obviously, with Coach Ziegler's been with me for just about forever, I think, and he's over at Desert Mountain High School helping out over there right now. But we're working on it and trying to figure out what the right fit is for what it is that we want to do, and figure it out and get moving.
Coach Felker, you're a quarterbacks guy, so obviously you're going to be handling that side of the ball. And how's the rest of the staff coming along?
Staff's done. I need a running back coach. Other than that, I think I got one of the best online coaches in the country. The receivers coach, I hired Coach Von Van Dam, who played at Phoenix College actually, and he's doing arena football right now. And he's a great coach, a great wide receiver, and defensively, like I said, we just had our first defensive staff meeting, and that side of the ball is complete, and got a great bunch of coaches and guys that, it's easy to say it, but a lot of where I'm at with this whole thing and trying to build it, I don't have to do all the things that Coach Madoski is doing right now to build a league and all this other stuff. So I've been able to focus a little more on hiring coaches and recruiting kids. But my coaching staff, I think that in some spots, in some positions, I'm better than I've been in the last few years, even at Mesa. So, that's going to be a great thing for the kids. And these guys are all bought in and ready to go. This is going to happen. And I know there's been a lot of questions and everything's kind of been under the radar lately, but, bringing it out now and moving forward, I already know that we're going to experience a lot of success as a league, because, junior college football in Arizona has been a staple for how many years, and being able to save it and do what we're going to do, there's a lot of guys out there that want to be a part of it. So putting together coaching staffs at each of these schools is not going to be a tough thing to do.
Well, I'm very impressed with the wealth of experience that you guys bring to the table here for the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. And, credit to Coach Stephen Weiss and obviously Coach Doug Madoski for putting together a quality, top-notch program that, as you mentioned, is not going to be any fly-by-night thing at all with the wealth of experience that you guys are bringing to the table.
Well, and if I can add, what I really like about this group is that these guys are genuinely good people, and they work well together, even though they're going to be, when it comes to playing games, they're going to be foes. They are going to be going at each other, but they're genuinely, good guys in the community. They're good men, and they're well respected in the community as well. Coach Madoski, how big do you anticipate the rosters to be with each team?
I would argue that they'll probably be at least as big as they were in years past when we've been in Maricopa. I mean, there's been a tremendous group of, from a number standpoint, of people that have inquired about the league, that want to join the league, that want to play in the league. Certainly we're saying that we're going to have a minimum of 80-person rosters, but I don't think it'll be difficult at all for us to all sit there and start the year in upwards of 100 kids without it being a problem. I mean, I know that we all, when we were in Maricopa, used to bring in hundreds of students, that wanted to play football. Not all of them could, not all of them made it. But, we tried to work with those guys to get them to, stay on and keep going to school and get their degree when it was all said and done. I think that's really, when you look at the staffs that are getting put in place, and you look at, Coach Daniels, Coach Felker, and what really Coach Weiss has been doing with this, it's about finding the right guys. It's about finding the right people and good people that not only, can obviously coach football, but people that are going to genuinely look to take care of these kids. And I think that, he's done a heck of a job from that standpoint, personally speaking.
Well, Coach Madoski, we'll keep it with you for another moment. Talk about the relationship that you guys have with Community Christian College out in California that's taking care of the academic side of things for the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference, and how you plan on intertwining the academic requirements and rigors of college sports into this program.
I think the biggest thing with them is there's a few things that were advantageous in looking at different colleges and who to partner with. And I think that, Coach Weiss did a heck of a job with that. One of the biggest pieces that comes to mind from my standpoint is an 18-month track to graduation. So they bring kids in and they put you on a track, and as long as you follow the track and you pass your courses, you're done with your associate's degree in 18 months. Obviously, the advantage for community college football players is it puts them at the 4-year school in time for spring football practice to start. So I think that was one of the biggest pieces of it. Certainly, they have a lot of different degree tracks out there, but the idea with them is simply that it is an online school, but I know that they have some student support services down here in the Valley, here in Phoenix, which will be open to all of our student athletes to be able to utilize those. One of the things that we've been trying to do in looking at facilities is trying to figure out, where can we get, computer labs, study halls, different things like that. And we're trying to make sure that we're as thorough as possible to make sure these kids are set up for success. But at the same time, a lot of kids take online courses. It's not like this is a new idea. I know that, at Scottsdale Community College last year, I want to say that, half of our roster was in online courses. So it's not like this is new and earth-shattering that they're not in classes as far as brick and mortar buildings. But, again, I think the nice part is they've got the support here on campus and an 18-month graduation track, and it fits up very nicely with what it is that we do.
Well, obviously a lot of forethought has gone to this, and obviously the goal of the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference is to have these kids graduate, be successful, go out and become good employees and members of the community, good husbands and fathers and so forth. So credit to you guys for really putting together a quality organization.
James, I'd like to take one more break, and then when we come back, if we could talk a little bit about heading into summer, into the fall, and then, of course, that first game, August 24th. So thanks again for joining us here on the JV Sports Show. We're here with head coach of the Salt River Scorpions, Jerome Daniels, head coach Ryan Felker of the Gila River Hawks, and head coach Doug Madoski of the Maricopa Mustangs. We'll be right back.
Trusted by law enforcement and military personnel throughout Arizona, Patriot Nation Firearms and Accessories offers a comprehensive selection of firearms and shooting-related merchandise to the general public. They specialize in personal defense products as well as law enforcement and tactical equipment for first responders. Stop by and check out their great selection and meet their knowledgeable staff. That's Patriot Nation Firearms and Accessories, located at 4139 West Bell Road, Suite 6 in Phoenix. Or give them a call at 602-281-6680.
Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. We are here with the new head coaches of the new Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. Once again, Coach Madoski from Maricopa Mustangs, Coach Felker from the Gila River Hawks, and Coach Daniels from the Salt River Scorpions. Coach Felker, let's start with you on this one. I'm curious now to know a little bit about your, once you, with regard to your practice regimen, heading into summer, are you doing anything right now with the guys that you have? Are you out there recruiting? What are you doing?
Well, I've been recruiting for a long time now since I knew this was going to come into fruition. But, because I had kids on my roster at Mesa that needed homes, and we found a lot of homes for those guys. At the end of the day, there were some that didn't have those, and we're going to bring them back to play for the Gila River Hawks. But I've just actively started talking to high school coaches and bringing some of the local kids in, and most of the kids on my roster are local guys. We're about 60-40 in the past, probably about 70-30 now. As far as football goes, I talk to my kids 2 or 3 times a week, and their questions are always, "Hey, Coach, when's football starting? When's football starting? When's football starting?" And now that I've had, I've secured a home field, we're going to do some things in June. We're probably going to do 10 install practices. Probably won't have, we'll be non-padded. We won't do equipment, but we'll get them out there to run around a little bit and get a taste, and get the coaching staff out there to install the offense and defense in June. Maybe spend 3 weeks doing what we would normally do in spring ball with pads, but without it. And we've secured a lot of those dates in the field for those dates, and that way we can get the kids we do have back into football and running around and catching balls and seeing who can move and play and those things, things you normally do, when you're a high school coach or a JC coach is spring ball is not the most important thing in the world. A lot of people don't even do it, but to get the kids together and start to build a family and start to build a program and start to send the same message from coach to coach and be able to give them the opportunity to, like I said, run around and chase some balls around. That's what we're planning on doing. And it's not gonna happen probably until about June because of the timing of this whole thing.
Quick question for Coach Daniels. So now we're in season. All right, we're in season. Take us through a typical week of practice for you in season with the time. And the great thing about this with school being online is you can have practice whenever you want. So what would be your typical week of practice, Coach Daniels?
We're going to pretty much copy success. So Coach Madoski's very early morning practices is something that we're going to probably do with our team. We want to see how that works. So like a 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning practice, try to get everybody out of there by 8:30 every day, kind of deals what we're trying to look at. Making sure that the coaches can get to their jobs and things of that nature because they're not going to be full-time.
And Coach Madoski, what are you thinking as far as practice regimen and so forth, and what do you have lined up so far for the Maricopa Mustangs as far as any kind of summer activities and then going into a fall camp? Are you going to do a typical 2-a-day fall camp type of thing?
We'll stay pretty true to what we've done in the past. We'll obviously emphasize the football part of it with losing the spring football end of it. And I agree with Coach Felker that spring football is one of those things where you don't usually have your entire team anyway. So you're always redoing anything that you were doing. You're reinstalling it, recoaching it. But we'll be more specific in regards to, working with guys and making sure that we're doing the install periods of the summer program. But we'll start that up in, mid to late May, early June, and get this thing up and rolling.
Now, all three of you guys are familiar with your first opponent coming in here on August 24th. Comments, Coach Madoski, starting with you. Tell us about NIMI, New Mexico Military Institute.
I mean, obviously they're an HJCAC school, and we as a conference recognize the importance of having our best showing possible against that opponent. Joe's done a heck of a job there, and they came in last year and I think shocked just about everybody in the country when they knocked off Western. And obviously we need to make sure that as a conference that we're doing everything we possibly can to go out and put a quality product on the field, but they can compete at a high level. Certainly I know Steve has been working the conversation to eventually get into the NJCAA and move down that path of membership there. But we certainly want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward and get ready for that opponent.
Coach Daniels, NIMI, what'd they do well?
Well, from years past, I have not watched them recently, but years past, they did a lot of things well. They were a well-disciplined team. So that's pretty much what they brought to the table.
Coach Felker, what are you expecting to see?
Well, I've always been a guy that just worries about what we do, and I'll recruit until the last possible day and put together a team that I think can compete, and we'll coach them up. And, I love the fact that NIMI's coming back into the mix because we've always had some great battles. And at the end of the day, we'll all play each other twice like we always have, which is a great schedule. And then bringing in some of those outside schools, NJCAA schools, whatever it might be, it's going to do nothing but add more credibility to what we're trying to establish. I mean, it's for me, I coached for Coach Madoski at one point, and with Coach Madoski, he's kind of a guy that will play anybody anywhere. And I've taken on that mentality, and you know what? I'm going to let them put the schedule together and put whoever they want to put in front of me, and we're going to go throw down on a weekly basis. I mean, and that's how I'm looking at this whole thing is I just got to get my kids ready for that.
Coach Madoski, so let's say one of your student athletes qualifies for full FAFSA financial aid. What would be coming out of their pocket to pay tuition for Community Christian?
And from what I understand, nothing. I believe that that's one of the unique pieces to it is that, if regardless of whether you're an in Arizona resident or an outside of Arizona resident, if you're a full financial aid qualifier, I believe that your tuition and books and fees are all covered. So it's one of those things that, again, that was something that I know Steve was pretty big about when we were looking at different schools and different programs. It was about making sure that these kids can afford it. Obviously any of us that's had out-of-state kids in Maricopa, we know that that's a tremendous expense, shall we say. So I think the idea that these kids now, whether it be in Maricopa or outside of Maricopa, are all on an equal playing field and equal, basis from the financial aid standpoint.
So you guys will beat each other up twice a year. Who else, aside from NIMI, have you been in talks to play?
We've talked with Snow College. We've talked with Trinity Valley. We've talked with Air Force Prep. There's been a pretty regular, conversations that have been had with several different teams in several different conferences. I know Steve's had a bunch of those going. The big thing this year is that while he's working to get everything up and running, trying to keep us home and don't have the money to really go out and travel and send teams all over the place. In looking at securing some of these dates, he's looking for obviously home games this year with the possibility of us traveling moving forward. But I don't think there's anybody that is off the table at the end of the day. I think that we line up and play anybody, and I think that's the makeup of the coaches that are in the conference is that we're going to line up and play. It doesn't matter if it's in a parking lot, we'll go play.
Well, we certainly appreciate you guys taking the time to join us here tonight, and we're very excited to be able to announce you guys as the new head coaches of these respective programs. And we'd like to do this again, possibly maybe in early August, kind of give you a couple months to really put everything together and get things rolling and kind of check on your status going into the season. Does that sound good?
It does. I want some of those Pringles that James has behind him.
I want some of the beers that Felker's got.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but you know what? Those Pringles and those stacks. Hey, Toby's got a snack shack over there.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been a real pleasure. We're looking forward to continuing the dialogue here throughout the summer. We had to make this a regular occurrence. and it'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great season, a lot of excitement, a lot of it. We're so excited for all the young people that have opportunities again. So I just think back to my days in coaching at Phoenix College as well, and there were some up days, some down days, but overall at the end of the day, we were creating opportunities for young people, and it was exciting to see that happen for all the schools. So thank you so much again, Coach Jerome Daniels, Salt River Scorpions, Coach Ryan Felker, Gila River Hawks, and Coach Doug Madoski from the Maricopa Mustangs.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
We appreciate you guys.